Alright, here we go. Wait, I don't know why there's an ad in the middle of my screen. I've never had that before though. Oh, hold up. There we go, it's gone. Alright. Wait, let me turn on the stream on my phone to see if everything is working correctly. Let me check. Alright, I am live. Okay, it's apparently not working correctly. Wait, hold up, what's going on here? Oh, I see. Now it should be good again. Is it good now? Let's check. Cretaceous Chaos. Hey man. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Alright, let's see if it's good now, because there's a little bit of delay, so I don't really know until I see it for myself. Ah, there we go. It's good now. Alright, so I'm using my tablet. And on my tablet it's a little easier to draw, and I have used it like for a couple hours now already, so I've grown pretty used to how everything works on my tablet. What dinosaur are you going to draw today? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. I know that there's somebody that commented on one of my videos. He feels like he has trouble drawing eyes and stuff like that. Wait, let me hear if the audio is okay. I'll have to mute my mic for a couple seconds. Alright, so we are missing background music. Let me quickly fix that. I know why. There we go. Alright, let's check if everything is working correctly now. Alright, everything is working. Let's go. So, Cretaceous Chaos. If you want to give me a scene or like a dinosaur and tell me what he's doing, I'll try to draw it. I'll try to do my best at least. Let's see if my pen is not laggy. It's good. I'll just start off with a little bit of some sketches. Let's see, what do we want to draw? So I'm just gonna grab a basic brush like this one. No, this one, and I'll just, yeah, this is perfect for sketching. Baryonyx, that's a very good one actually. I wish, oh wait, actually I am going to use another screen to look up reference photos. This is perfect, but it has to start up, so it's going to take some time, but I can already do some sketches actually. So Baryonyx, so what is the Baryonyx doing? Maybe it's like catching a fish. Let's just do something really quickly. Oh no. So we have a stabilization option, and usually I put it pretty high when when I try to make like lines and stuff, line work. But in this case, because I'm still sketching. All right, so this is gonna be the head, and snout would be over here. Doesn't the Baryonyx have like a very similar snout to that of Spinosaurus? I thought it had. Alright, so it just caught a really big fish. The fish is like right here, and I believe that in their time they had like the really big sawfish or something. Like this fish had like really big saw teeth or whatever you call that on their faces. I really don't know what those fish would have looked like. Looks more like a bird right now, but it's okay, it's alright. For some reason the stream ended. I'm not really sure why or what happened. Let me reconnect it real quick. Screencast, why is it not working? Okay, let me reconnect real quick. This might happen a couple times actually. Not sure why it's happening, but yeah. Alright, and then the Baryonyx has like a really weird curve right there. Alright. Something like that, I guess. And then the neck would be like bent like that, and then the tail would be like right there because it just caught a fish. Maybe it would have like a really big claw, like where would the claw be? Like right here, I guess. And I think that the biggest claw would be like on the top finger, I guess. It's at least what I've seen. And then there's like a couple smaller ones like right there. Something like that would be acceptable, I guess. Maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew right now because I'm actually drawing something that is like, I have no idea how the body would look in this position. Let's just first remove the fish so that I have a better idea of what I'm actually drawing, like the pose that he's standing in. And then like we can always like add the fish in later. Miguel Mazdodius, I have no idea how to pronounce that. Or Spinosaurus. Oh, the sawfish is Onchopristis. Okay, well, we might also draw an Onchopristis, whatever you call that. Wait, let me quickly get my reference photo ready. I have to be on Google. Yeah, I have no idea why it does that sometimes, why it just disconnects, but yeah, let's just hope. Why can I not go to Google? Oh, there we go, Google, and then reject everything, images, and then baryonyx. Baryonyx. There we go. Burdock K6W. I love digital art. Traditional. I can't read it because it's not. Traditional art is just too fancy, expensive, and hard. I mean, digital art is pretty expensive as well. I'm not gonna lie. Like, digital art is not inexpensive because you need something to do digital art. Like, you actually need to purchase a device. It's way easier to start with traditional art because, yeah, basically traditional art, you can just buy a sketchbook for like a couple euros or a couple dollars, and you just need a pencil. That's everything you need for traditional art. You would literally need a whole tablet or a whole PC to start digital art. So like, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive to do digital, which is the reason why it took me so long to actually start doing proper digital art pieces. Alright, I feel like this head is a little bit, the shape isn't right, so I'm gonna increase the size of like cranium. It looks a little bit too much like a crocodile right now, but so the baryonyx has like a ridge over here. It's very similar to the Spinosaurus, actually, of what I've seen of the Spinosaurus. And then this jawline is supposed to be a little bit more curved. And then we should see the other side of the jaw over there. Maybe we should adjust this a little. I don't really like the way that this looks right now, so let's just go back to basics. You know what? I'll just erase everything for now because I actually have a reference photo now, so I should have no excuse anymore to mess this up, but we'll see. No, markers are so expensive. Yeah, that's true. Markers are expensive. Yeah, no, you're right. If you're gonna actually do like coloring and stuff like that, markers are very expensive. Copics are insanely expensive. I have never used Copics in my what am I saying? I've never used Copic markers in my life because they're so expensive. So yeah. All right. Well, actually, let me get a good reference photo because I only see some Jurassic World baryonyx reference photos, but I'm not sure. Okay, I like this one. All right, so let's first learn how the body of the baryonyx works. All right, so this is going to be the main head of the baryonyx. Pretty pointy, thin snout, and then the neck is pretty long as well. So if we're going to draw something dynamic, the neck is pretty long. So this is about, yeah, this is about right, I guess. And then the body would be like right over here. And the top part of the body looks very thin. I'm not really sure if the baryonyx would have had a very slender. I mean, I guess it would have had a slender build because of like the skeletal structure, but I am trying not to skin wrap it too much like I used to do on a lot of my other dinosaur drawings. Alright, so let's get in the leg. And the other one over here as well. Maybe it's walking. Let's make it so that it's kind of like walking. Just like forwards a little bit. And yeah, something like that. And now I just need to add like some arms over here. And the shoulder would be over there. Arm would go back like this. How long are the arms? They're not too long, so let's just do it like that. That would be like proper size of the arms, right? And then if we're gonna go off of like Spinosaurus, what I know about Spinosaurus, then the first claw would be pretty big in comparison with the other two on his finger. Why am I drawing so... okay, never mind. And then the other ones would be like a lot smaller in comparison. So it would look something like that. And the same thing over here. So I'm gonna do the same thing. Pretty big one there. And then one there. And one there. Alright, just making sure that it has enough muscle, but yeah. Alright. So now we have a decent idea of the basic shape of the Baryonyx. Maybe it would have had webbed feet as well, webbed toes. I'm not sure. Could have had webbed toes. Maybe. Alright, and then let's draw some toes in here as well. And should we draw it with webbed toes? We can. We'll just draw it like with a little bit of webbed toes over there. Like that. Alright, so this is the first layer, so don't worry about like... I think that... yeah, let's refine this a little bit more. Alright, so we do see the curvature of, for example, like the rib cage over here. And I think that the leg is positioned a little bit too far back, so we're gonna adjust that a little bit, make it look a little bit more natural. And then maybe this leg might be a little bit too thin, and we're just adjusting it as we go. Alright, that looks tiny. That's my dog, by the way. It looks a tiny bit more accurate. Alright, here we go. And yeah, let's go to the next layer. So now I can go to the next layer. Well, actually no. I want to refine the face a little bit more. So if we're gonna look at like how a Spinosaurus looks, it's gonna be pretty similar. First, I want to have the top of the head, which is gonna be like this. I just want to make sure that I know where the top of the head is, so that I can draw it like more, like I can make a more accurate drawing. So now I know that here is supposed to be like a structure like that, and then it goes like that. It goes out like this. Something like that. And it doesn't look too bad, in my opinion. Then we have the eye ridge over here. An eye ridge over here. Oh, that's so wrong. I don't know how that happened. Eye ridge over here. And maybe it would have had the same thing as the Spinosaurus itself, where the Spinosaurus had like a little bit of a... wait a sec, I keep accidentally hitting it with my palm. Maybe I should go back to settings. But the Spinosaurus had like something like this. And actually, no, it was a little bit more forwards, and like it wasn't really on the back of his skull, it was more like over here. So maybe the Baryonyx would have had the same thing. Who knows? But the big difference is that I'm not going to give this Baryonyx a spine like Spinosaurus. I'm drawing a Baryonyx 2 on my hoodie, and I'm using fabric markers. That's awesome. What you can also do, you could, if you wanted to, use an app to remove the background of your black and white drawing that you made traditionally, and then you can scan it onto a t-shirt, and then like you can go to a local what is it called, local printer or something like that, and you can make them print your whatever you want on a t-shirt or a hoodie. I've done it before, and it can turn out really nice. Alright, so here we go with the basics of this baryonyx. I'm not really sure about the shape of the... I mean, it's alright, it's alright. So now we are going to go to the next... Oh man, I keep forgetting. I do still have to finish the face. So there would be an eye over here, and I have to... how did I do those settings again? I'm gonna have to go into my... Oh, what did I just do? That was an accident. I'm gonna have to go into my settings real quick. I will stop sharing my screen for a little bit so that you guys don't have to see that, because I'm gonna be struggling a little bit, of course. But I'm gonna go into my settings and turn on like palm rejection, because every time I accidentally touch the screen with my palm, it keeps on like hitting a button that I don't want it to hit. Okay, how did I do that again? Pen and keyboard, pen, and then how did I do that? Accidentally. Dynamic accidental touch protection. Yeah, okay. Alright. There we go. Now I'm gonna go there again, and I'm gonna turn up... Oh shit, I just did it again. Alright, and I'm gonna turn on my screen sharing again. If it works. Searching for devices. There we go. Let's wait until something happens. I don't know why it's not working. It's supposed to work. It's working. Okay. Here we go, finally. Okay. So now that I have the basics of this baryonyx, I still need the eye though. Keep on forgetting that. So let's see how the skull looks. So there's like a... Yeah, alright. So there's like a... It's almost the same as like the Spinosaurus, basically, you know. Big difference is Spinosaurus, I think it's a little bit more chunkier, and I would say that like you don't have a sail on the baryonyx, and you do have that on the Spinosaurus. That's where the eye should go. And then we have this little pocket, and then we have a nostril right there. Alright, now we can finally go to layer number 2 and hide this layer, sort of, or part of this layer. So there we go, and we can change the opacity of this layer by a lot, like that, and then we just take different kind of brush. I like to use writing and an inked pen brush, and obviously I'm gonna have to make it a little smaller. Alright, and I'm going to turn on the stabilizer a little bit more, like turn it up a little bit more. So the thing about the stabilizer is, instead of having normal paper, where if you're gonna drag across the screen, you're gonna create a normal, like a straight line without any like shakiness in your stroke. Well, the reason for that is because paper actually has some texture to it where it grips your pen or your pencil a little bit better, and you can just drag a straight line. But if I turn off the stabilization, because I'm on a tablet right now, the screen is completely smooth. So if I'm gonna make a straight line, because of the smoothness of the screen, I'll never really be able to get clean lines. So in order to fix that, I turn on this stabilizer that helps me get more straighter lines. That's basically the reason for that. So let's start with the eye. And if I accidentally touch the screen with my palm, it still does it. I don't really know why, because I think palm rejection is supposed to be a thing, but it doesn't matter. It's alright. Alright, so I just accidentally did it again. You know what? Actually, I have a glove. It should help. I have a little glove that should help with like protecting the screen from my palm accidentally touching it. Let's see if it works. Let's see if it actually works. It didn't do anything. Alright. That's a shame. So, alright. I'll have to zoom in a little bit more. So, for the eye, and for the person, like there's somebody that commented I have trouble drawing eyes. So for an eye, depends on how you're looking at it. So for example, if this is, I'm gonna have to turn off the stabilizer again, because I don't like this when I'm just drawing. So for example, this is a circle, right? And this is basically a face, right? So if your nose is pointing that way, then your eye would be like this. The reason for that is because obviously your eye is more rounded like that if you're looking at it from the front. But of course the eye has like a three-dimensional shape to it as well. So that means that if you're going to look at the eye from this direction, then this part will be completely blocked off. So you'll only see this shape of the eye. If you're going to look at it from, for example, if he's going to turn his head around to that direction, right, then the eye would change to be, for example, oh, that's a big eraser. Right, so let's say that the nose is pointing this way. Then the eye, you would still see kind of the corner of the eye, but this part would be like more pointy. Well, I mean, you can still see the whole eye. Now he's going to turn his nose to, for example, that direction. Oh, what am I doing? This direction. Then here you would see a more rounded edge, right? Because he's looking to that direction. I'm really bad at drawing people, but the same thing applies to drawing dinosaur eyes. So, depending on where your dinosaur is looking, if he's looking that direction, you draw the eye like this. Yeah, my bad. my bad. You draw the eye like this. Just imagine an animal. You can even make a dog out of this if you wanted to, right? bad at drawing dogs, but you get the idea. So, all right. Another important thing if you're going to be drawing eyes is that in order to make an eye look more realistic, you would have to. I really don't like this brush. I don't know why, but it feels like it's not dark enough. And I have no idea how to fix this actually. How do I get a darker line? Is this because it's on the second layer? Oh, that's the reason. I'm not even drawing on the right layer. That makes sense. Okay, wait, let me read the chat. Fox McLeod 9609. Oh wow, this is that a dinosaur? Yeah, it's a dinosaur. It is a dinosaur. It's actually a baryonyx that I'm gonna be attempting to draw. But I'm actually explaining how to draw eyes now. So basically, and I'll just use a normal brush actually. So yeah, this is good. So if I'm gonna have an eye right here, right? It doesn't even have to be the correct shape. Usually what I do is I look at like where the lighting is coming from. For example, if the lighting is coming from the top, then the bottom will have shadow. Because this is a three-dimensional shape, right? Well, that's not. Because this is a three-dimensional shape, this part of the eye is going to be darker, right? But usually you also see in an eye that there's an eyebrow or something like this, like a flap of skin or whatever that's like holding the eye, you know. Usually over here there's also going to be a little bit more shadow because of this. And the eye is a little transparent as well, so you're going to see, you know, parts of it have this shadow, like the shadow basically goes through to this side as well. So now you're gonna have to draw the pupil. Well, the pupil would be somewhere over here, but you don't just draw a rounded black pupil. You want to make sure that you leave a little bit of a white spot, like right there, and then you can finish off like the rest of the pupil, and then make sure that the bottom of the pupil is a little bit darker as well, because the shadow is at the bottom. And now you can shade in, you know, like try to get the right kind of shading into this eye, like fade in the shadow, you know, like make the transition a little bit more natural instead of it looking so harsh. And this is actually something I learned while doing it on paper, just a traditional way. And then you just leave a little bit of white at the top of the eye. And it might look really weird right now and really bad right now, but it's all gonna make sense when I put in the highlight. And I'm really like traditional, digital art is not my strongest suit, so it does look a little weird. It does look a little bad right now, but it's all gonna be okay. Alright, so now that we have all of this done, what you should try now is use a gel pen to and it is actually very, by the way, it's good to have this fade into like the black of the pupil a little bit more, so that the bottom is kind of like a little bit harder to see, right? Because it's gonna add on for later. So now you want to have a white gel pen if you're going to use traditional art, and you want to make a highlight right there. And if you're going to zoom out a little bit, that will look like a good eye, you know. especially if I'm gonna apply this to the baryonyx that I'm gonna be drawing right now. But first I'm gonna have to use some lines, obviously. Where is it? Writing. There we go. So I'm gonna leave that there for a little bit, and I'm gonna apply that to this baryonyx. And I'm not, I'm pretty sure this is not gonna go well because we don't have enough pixels in this app. But we'll see what we could do. Oh, this is white. Okay, so first off, we're gonna get the shape of the eye right. So because of the angle, the eye would kind of be shaped a little bit more like that. And I'm pretty sure that the baryonyx would have had a smaller eye than this. So, excuse me. So maybe we should make the eye a little bit smaller. So let's see if we can make the eye a little smaller. Alright, it's still pretty big, but like, I mean, I think this is good. I think this is good. Alright, so now the same thing applies. I'm gonna change my brush to this one. And make it a little smaller. And now, because the light source is gonna be at the top, I want to have a little bit more shadow at the bottom. So that's what we're going to be doing. Just creating a little bit of shadow right there. Make the brush a little smaller so I can apply more shadow down here. Alright, and try to make it fade in as good as possible. Alright, and now I want to make the pupil, and the pupil is going to be right here. It's a little small, so it's it's gonna lack in yeah, it's not gonna be as good, but it's gonna be alright. So now let's fade this in a little bit better by not leaving too much of a white area. And we can also now grab white and then make a very tiny little white highlight right there. And I'm not sure why it's not really working, but alright, and there you go. That's like a pretty decent eye. Usually I don't do this though. I don't go for this much detail this early on, because we don't even have the, the line work in. What kind of dogs are these? What do you mean dogs? What are you talking about? Alright, let's increase the brush a little bit. Oh, and it just stopped screen sharing again for some reason. I have to turn it back on. Disconnect. And then reconnect. There we go. Alright. So let's turn on stabilization. Alright, here we go. Already putting in lines that are not very good. Alright. I'm just gonna go over everything. But at least now we'll have some more cleaner lines. I am struggling so much to not shake too much, because I have to like move my whole arm, and I'm shaking quite a bit. I can't just lay down my hand, because then I'll accidentally pick a color. Alright. Now let's draw some fingers. So one big claw like at the start. There we go, and then two smaller ones following behind. There we go. Same thing applies to this hand. One big claw at the beginning. And then two smaller ones following right behind. Oh. Alright. I guess that looks alright. Now let's get into feet. Yeah, I want to get the feet a little bit more accurate to what real dinosaur feet would have looked like. There we go. So the correction is stabilization is actually messing me up more than it's helping me at this point. Yeah, I accidentally just grabbed the color again. No, I'm not doing that line. I'm just going for this one. Let me turn down the correction because it's the stabilization. I'll just put it on 30, 31. And let's see what that does. Yeah, it's a little better. It gives me a little bit more control. Alright, and then draw like a dinosaur claw right there, and some webbing between the toes. A claw over here as well. Then a claw over here. Alright, that's pretty decent. Alright. this process is gonna take some time. Like, that's just the truth. And I believe that the tail should be a little bit more shaped like this. Alright, and now let's get the back in as well. Oh. Alright, I guess that's like that's pretty decent. It's not perfect, but like I'm happy with how this is starting to look right now. And we also need the teeth. Let's first finish this up. There we go. Alright, so I guess we're at the point right now where we can just remove the background. So we can just turn that one off, and then we're left with like this rough sketch. So there's a couple things we can do now. We can color it, or what color will it be? That's a very good question. I'm actually thinking about that myself right now as well. I'm gonna remove this. Oh, what did I do? I'm gonna remove this eye, by the way, because it doesn't serve any more use. It's only in the way. Alright, so now I'm gonna use so we're gonna be drawing some teeth. And if we're gonna make it accurate to what a Spinosaurus would kind of look like, then it would start over here. That's way too big already. It's just the way that we're drawing this is a little bit weird. I guess that's what the teeth of a Spinosaurus would kind of look like. And everything is looking pretty rough right now, but it will all make sense later. Let's draw a line to the middle. Oh, let's draw a line to where the middle of the... Well, actually, let's draw a line for where the skull goes. And then... That's not where the skull goes, wait. Okay, there we go. That's like the middle of the neck. I don't really like this neck, to be honest, because I just messed it up so much. So I'm gonna remove it and draw it again. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Alright, so what color should I make it? What color should it be? Cerrado Chaos. Yeah, you can choose what color it's gonna be. Just make sure it's not gonna be a weird color. It has to work. Oh, the tablet is a little laggy right now. Okay, let's just make a new layer. We're gonna put this layer underneath the layer we've already drawn, because this is gonna be the coloring layer. Maybe look for reference in birds. I could, but nah, I'm just gonna make it a little bluish. It's gonna be in a swampy area, so yeah, let's make it a little bit like bluish purple. No, maybe. Alright. I'll be using my own brush that I created specifically to paint. Because this brush kind of makes strokes like this, and I really like those. Alright, so let's get a lightest color. So this is gonna be... no, it's not gonna be the main color. Let's get a little bit more blue, so that we can make the swamp with like a yellowish green. That would look nice. Let's get the background first. Background color. Maybe like a yellowish green. It'll be pretty dark. And then the dinosaur itself will be kind of like... yeah, we'll have it like a purple bluish color. And those lines, by the way, those are really annoying lines, because if I erase them, I might accidentally erase the underlaying sketch, because I accidentally grabbed white, and while doing that I did accidentally go over the painting. Alright, here we go. So go back to that layer. Let's start. Alright, this is a pretty bright purple for a background this dark, so we might want to get a little bit more gray, get it a little darker. It's like in these areas there's going to be a little bit less light, obviously. I'm gonna have to turn off the stabilization, by the way, because if we're gonna be painting, I want to have like free control over where I put my strokes. I'll make it even darker and turn down the opacity. No, not yet. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good dark. So I'm just putting in some dark spots like everywhere where I know there's going to be shadow in the painting. And I don't have to be careful to where I place these shadows, or even if I am not inside of the lines, because I can always go over it later with an eraser, which is the good thing about digital art. You can just erase all of your mistakes. If you make a couple mistakes, then you can just go back and create something that looks even better. Alright, so here we go, and there's also going to be some shadow from the head hovering over the rest of the body, most likely. Then obviously there's going to be shadow. Oh, that's too big. Obviously there's going to be shadow around the eye. And there's going to be shadow like right here. Maybe this should be a little bit closer to the eye, actually. And I forgot to draw in the nose, so let's quickly do that. Still. Let's go to that layer. Layer 2. And then draw in a nostril right here. Well, that's too small. Draw in a nostril right here. Why is it... what? How did it become red? It should be like right there. Yeah. Might be a little too dark. Yeah, let's put the opacity down a little bit more. Alright, that's alright, that's alright, that's not too bad. Alright, so if we're going to go back to the color that I was using and the brush that I was using for it. Hey, where is it? Favorites. Oh, I'm already using it. Okay. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. I also know there's going to be shadow like right here on the snout. And I'm drawing on the wrong layer actually, so that's bad. This is the right layer. Alright, so I know there's going to be some shadow over here. And over here as well. There might be some shadow over here. And over here. There's definitely going to be shadow at the bottom of the jaw. Because it's curving. It has like a curvature in it, so it's going to show some shading. Alright, so now I'm going to go to this color. And I'm just going to color in like right in between those areas. Well, actually this is too bright. That is way too bright. So we're going to brighten up this color a little bit. Just a tiny little bit. Let's see if that's darker actually. Where is it? It should be a little bit brighter. Yeah. Okay. It's still pretty bright, but it's alright. It's way too bright actually. We're gonna have to fade that into each other, so I'm gonna lower the opacity and then go over here, change that color like to a little bit. And I just keep on like grabbing the newer color to blend the colors in a little bit better, so that it's not such a harsh transition right away. And then because of the fact that this is going to be the top of the head, there will be significantly more light, so it's gonna, the colors are going to be a little bit more like, not exaggerated, but like there's going to be a lot of more let's do like a yellowish tone to it. How do we do this? Let's give it like a little bit of yellowish gray, so that it looks like the sun is like coming through or something, or maybe more of a greenish gray. Let's see what that looks like. And then we just keep on like fading these colors together, and it will cause them to like, it's gonna look better and better. Here we go. It looks weird right now, but that's alright, that's alright. Later we're gonna remove this middle line, by the way, but not just yet. So let's grab a color from here and just apply it to this area as well. Maybe the opacity should be up a little bit more so I can get some better lines. Maybe that's a little bit too dark. I should grab some lighter colors maybe. And then the really light colors like at the top. And we're still gonna go back later to like get some more different colors in, and maybe like get some more details in as well here and there. But as I'm seeing it right now, the Baryonyx didn't really have too many special colors. I mean structural things like around his body. So it might just be a very boring looking dinosaur. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see how this turns out in the end. We'll just look at it later. Okay, let's grab some of this. And let's grab a lighter color, like right on the edge of the mouth, because it's like sticking out a little bit more than all the other parts. And there might be a little bit of shadow here as well. It's not going to be the same color, not going to be just as light as the surrounding colors. So I believe that the difference between this and this is not good enough. So I want to grab this darker color and then just go over it and then make sure that you can clearly see that there is a difference, you know, that it's not the same plane. I want there to be difference in in the planes. You can clearly see that the side plane is not the same as the top plane, if that makes sense. But I'll also create some texture here by creating some spots and stuff like that. Alright, so right now we just need to slowly fill in the areas that we've missed. And we need to make sure that we are clearly going to show like the where most of the shading is going to be, which should be like right here. There should be some shading here, a little bit more than on the other areas, and then some over here as well. Now, I haven't found the darkest color that I'm gonna need just yet, because I do need some darker colors here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna grab some, I'm gonna desaturate that a lot, or not even, like just make it a lot darker. I'm gonna go over this. Just create something like that, and then I need a little bit more shading here right at the edge, but I'm gonna change the size of the brush for this right there and right there. Now what I want to do is I want to keep on grabbing the overlapping colors so that I can shade this into each other a little bit better, or fade this into each other a little bit better. Alright, it's starting to look a little bit better, but it takes time though. That's just the thing, it does take time to make it look clean and finished. And maybe you wouldn't even be able to see this hole in the skull. Actually I did it wrong. It's supposed to, shape is a little bit more like this, by the way. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And now I'm gonna have to do the same thing for the eye. Just make this area around the eye a little darker. Right on top of the eye I want to leave a little bit of a highlight, but right underneath the eye I should add some more shading, because it's going to be darker there. And then just try to like fade the colors into each other a little bit. And make sure that the top is going to be pretty dark, because that's where the light hits like the ridge right there. So because that it has a little bit of a ridge over there, I should add a little bit extra shed, or a little bit of extra light, and over here as well, because it's like protruding a little bit more than all the other areas. So now if you're going to start looking at it from a distance, you will notice that, yeah, it's going to start to slowly but surely, it's going to start to look more like a little bit of a more of a polished drawing. So now that so the bottom jaw is basically it has a strange angle. So over there, the back of the head, by the way, it should have a little bit more light. I'm gonna grab some light from over there, and I'm gonna light this area up a little bit. But also, it should have another indentation in the skull over here. That's alright. And there we go. Now the bottom jaw again. Yeah, the bottom jaw has kind of a strange angle in comparison with the upper jaw, so it's going to be a slightly bit darker at the bottom than what you would think. Let's first like finish this area. I should make the opacity a little bit less what do you call it? Transparent. Yeah, that's the right word. That's the word I was looking for. Alright, there we go. Now I want to create a little bit more shading right underneath that line, like this jaw. And especially down here, it's going to have a lot of shading. I should redo that. See, that's the thing about like digital art. You can just remove anything you want if it doesn't look right. And I should, alright, that's too bright. Yeah, I should also add a little bit of shading over here. I'm just gonna go over the teeth because I'm gonna go over it anyways later, so it's alright. And then I should add some light right there, because that's where the sun is gonna hit it. And then I'll just lower the opacity and I'll just go over it. And then I'll just grab the colors and try to fade them into each other a little bit better. Do the same thing over here. And just try to fade it as much as possible. Alright, so this is what we have right now. We can still go in and like add like scales and everything like that. Right, so now we can also use those same colors that we've just used. Wait, let me actually get this line in as well, because that's what you would expect. Okay, so that makes it a little bit more defined, and we should try to add some green in this as well, like what we did before. And now it's going to be a mix between the green and the blue that we already have. And we can use this to create like extra highlights. There we go. And obviously we also need some highlights over there. There we go. Alright, so let's now use this darker color to create a little bit more shading at the bottom. Also try to fade these colors in a little bit better. Make it a little smaller. Now we want to make sure that we have the same kind of color at the back, like on the back of the dinosaur, because this is like facing directly into the sun basically. Let's make it less transparent again. Oh. And we have a very bright color here as well, and we can use that to add more highlight to areas later on if we want to. Wait, I'm actually destroying a lot of the shadows over there. Let's just redo that real quick. There we go. Okay, here we go. And now I can just build off of here again. That's too big. Alright, so it's slowly starting to come together quite nicely. Yeah, so now I'm gonna have to grab some gradients and like try to add some more dimension to it. And maybe I'll grab some of this and that's too much. Lower the opacity so I can get this really nice gradient, really nice bright purple color in it as well. I'm not sure what it looks like for you guys, but for me it looks pretty nice. Alright, let's lower the opacity and then bring in some more of that purplish. Yeah, that looks nice. So I can even add that here as well. Give it some highlights from the top. And if I lower the opacity, maybe I should add it here and here as well. Just the more colors you can add into the painting with it still looking decent, the better it's gonna look in the end, because the more color is gonna, you know. And I can add that highlight to here and maybe here a little bit. Oh, that line is way too straight. I can edit here as well a little bit. It's just gonna bounce off of everything in the environment as well, so it's not like it only comes from one side, one area. It basically comes from everywhere. Alright, let's draw in the back of the dinosaur a little bit more. Or like the belly, the stomach area. Lower the opacity a little bit more and try to fade everything in a little bit. Actually increase the opacity here because we don't have paint there. I'm just gonna call it paint because that's what we're doing. We're not really drawing at this point. It's more like a painting process right now. Because we're just putting down layers over layers. Trying to make it look more and more three-dimensional. It's like we're sculpting something, you know? And drawing the dinosaur is actually the easiest part because the background is going to be a little, the hardest part. Background is going to be a little faster because you can just put in like a really basic background and just make the focus fall on the dinosaur. Alright, let's create some more shading in the leg here. All right. So if you have a shadow, it's not going to be completely dark because we also have the environment. The environment is going to be shooting out light, you know, like it's going to bounce off of other plants and like the ground, and that's going to cause the light to fall onto the dinosaur as well. Alright, and yeah, we still have to fill in all of this open stuff here, over here. Alright, it's slowly starting to come along. There we go. That doesn't look good. So now I want to fade this in a little bit more, like make it look a little bit more natural, instead of it looking like the way that it's been looking right now. Just make the edge a little softer. There we go. Alright, so from a distance, it's already starting to look like a dinosaur. Yeah, maybe we should give it some we can give it some, actually we can give it pink, a little bit of pink in its body, you know? That wouldn't look too bad, to be honest. Alright, so let's see, we're gonna like look at the planes again, because I want to make sure that everything that is like really dark is going to have a little bit more of a darker tone in it. Everything that's going to be at the bottom is going to have this color or this amount of shading. Like over here as well. And then right underneath here, we would see some shading over here as well. And I'm already trying to like get in some details. just with the... Oh, I ended up grabbing that color. Okay. And there we go. Now at the bottom of the feet there's going to be a lot of shadow, but at the top you're going to see well, that's too thin. You're going to see these scales that you usually see on dinosaur feet that you also see on chicken feet. And the same thing is going to happen to these fingers here. And I'm not really too worried about like it not looking perfect, or there still being some, you know, wider areas like coming through. I don't really care about that. I just want to make sure that I get like the basic, you know, the idea of like when you look at it, you know it's a dinosaur, you know what kind of dinosaur it might be, and so on and so on. And this is also gonna have same type of shading. And now I want to have some softer shading that kind of like, that's too much. Kind of like fades everything together a little bit better. And apply that over here. Maybe some light bouncing back from the ground, making this a little bit lighter than what you would think. Same thing might happen over here. Light bouncing back might create some lighter areas. Light bouncing back here as well. And yeah, let's add some more shading in here as well, so that we can see the more sort of the three-dimensional shape. A little bit better. And I'm not gonna worry too much on the detail of the back, like with the tail and everything, because that's not what the picture is about. The picture is mostly about the way that it looks at you, so that you can see, like, you know, that it might be a threat, you know? It might be more threatening than you thought at first when you saw it walk up on you, but now it's suddenly turning its head, looking at you straight. Yeah. And it's starting to walk towards you. And that is the kind of idea that we're going for in this this drawing. Okay, let's go for a little bit more texture in the neck itself. So for that we would need the darker color. Maybe that maybe that's a little too dark. Wait. yeah, we're just gonna try to make it clear that bottom of the neck, maybe the bottom of the neck is attached like somewhere over here even. It might look pretty cool. Yeah, let's go for that. Let's try that. So bottom of the neck is basically going to be attached right there, so that can create something interesting here. So we would see on top of these areas the direction of the skin flaps and folds and everything, like coming down like that. Also over here we would see some skin folds and stuff, and that would actually mean that we will need to add like an extra line going like that. Oh, there we go. That's like the side of its head. And now we will need a shadow color, and let's lower the opacity here to create this ridge where there's going to be a little bit of shadow. And we want to create that underneath all of these wrinkly areas. Just create that shadow. And underneath this as well. But especially over here, there is going to be a lot more shadow. Is your favorite dino still Diplodocus? It could be. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I'm not really sure. I'm starting to like the Stegosaurus as well, but I don't really like the depiction, the way that they have been depicting it lately. I like the older depiction of Stegosaurus, like the one in the original BBC's Walking with Dinosaurs, and the one in the Lost World Jurassic Park. I really like that, like those Stegosauruses. Alright, I'm not sure if I like the way that this is starting to look, so I'm just gonna remove this part like slightly. And then just leave it like that. It looks a lot better like this. But obviously, like the gradation, like this needs to be a little darker. And then push it back a little bit. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Alright, again, I'm not going for a perfect finish. I'm just going for something that might look cool. So here we have the same thing. We have this, what is this called? Like, we can add a little bit of a highlight over here to indicate that it doesn't, no, not like that. To indicate that there's like light bouncing up from the ground and hitting it somewhere over there. And yeah, that's a little bit better. And I should follow this line and then break it up a little bit. Yeah. So now you can clearly see that there's this highlight, but I actually want to try to make it a little bit more like of the bright purple. Because that doesn't look too bad. Alright, now I also want to go back into the eye, because I am not really happy with how I did the eye, because I feel like I can get a lot more detail, but I do need some darker colors. I want to make some wrinkles around the eye with these darker colors that I've just grabbed. And I want to make some like this a little bit more darker as well, because that will make it look a little bit more like a harder edge. We're just going to create some small little details around the eye, and maybe we will bleed into the surrounding areas as well with the wrinkles, but don't do too much. Alright, that's starting to look quite nice. Lower the opacity a little bit, and we can blend those colors in a little bit better. I'm gonna do the same over here. We should blend this in a little bit more. We don't have to be worried too much about like accuracy or anything like that too much. Just a little bit, you know, the general shape, but as long as people can see what it's supposed to look like, you're good. Obviously you can always go for like extreme accuracy where yeah, you can just try and go for it from the start, from the get-go. That's also fine if you want to do that. That's like really good, but it's going to take a lot more time to be able to do that. I could make accurate dinosaurs as well, but yeah, it's going to take more time. I'm just going to add some more of this purple here and there to create some highlights on the dinosaur itself to indicate that the purple light is bouncing off of something. You might not understand just yet where it's coming from, but it's there. Let's close this in a little bit more. Why is it so small? Alright, there we go. So now, oh yeah, wait, let's grab some more of this purple and add some on the toes as well, especially the ones that are facing us. Maybe that's a little too harsh. I mean, it looks fine. And then let's do the same over here. And then just add a little bit of purple on every scale. No, that's too much. Just the bottom ones, and then we just fade it out a little bit more later. Even more faded. Yeah. We should add some scales. So even though this is just the shading color, what I could do is create some scales by bringing the opacity down by a lot, and then I'll just add some, maybe like some crocodile like shapes. I don't really like this, so I'm gonna up the opacity a little bit more. Not too much, but just enough that we can distinguish them a little bit better. And maybe make the pencil a little bit smaller. Alright, I'm not really happy with how that looks. Maybe I added too many, could also be the case. So we're just gonna remove them, and we're gonna try to add a little bit less, and I hope I can still remove everything though, because otherwise I would have to draw over it again. Alright, so maybe you should have some at the back. I grabbed green for some reason, but I need to grab that color. Or maybe just a color that's a little bit, not too much darker, and up the opacity a little bit more. And then just give it some scales here and there. Problem with the pen that I'm using, or the brush that I'm using, is that I cannot change the direction to where the strokes are facing, which is, yeah, a little bit of a shame. Alright, that looks a little bit better, in my opinion at least. Have you heard about the new dinosaur documentary on Netflix? I have, and I really like it. I really enjoyed watching it, and I would like to watch it again actually. Like, I'm a big fan. I do still think that the original BBC Walking with Dinosaurs is the best one that we have right now in terms of like dinosaur documentaries. I really like that dinosaur documentary. Yeah, I like these scales a lot more than the ones that I used before. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just basically placing them pretty randomly, to be honest. But it does give like a little bit of extra detail to the drawing. Alright, so now I'm grabbing a color that's slightly darker here again to create the scales here in the neck. And now I need scales that are slightly darker again. Yeah, so same here. Sorry that I'm becoming quiet sometimes, but I'm just trying to figure out like how to you know, how to do things, or like I don't know how to explain it, like, yeah. Now for the scales on the side of the face, you would obviously have to use darker colors. Then that's too dark. A little bit more like that. I think this brush is pretty good for creating scales. And I created it myself, by the way. Like, I'm not using something that's been made for me. I just created it. Pretty happy with the way it turned out. Alright, it is starting to look kind of nice. Maybe it's a little bit too precise, because I like the way that the scales look on the legs, but yeah, maybe I should not have done this. Don't think I can still go back. Wait, let me see if I can still go back that far. Nah, that's too much. I don't think so. I don't even notice that I'm undoing something. At least I should not have done it on the face, probably. Let's see how far we can go back and then just go off from that. I'm surprised I can actually go back this far. Yeah. So I should only create scales at the darkest areas. But I also think I forgot to add something important. Wow, I'm impressed. Okay, so I forgot to add something important, which is the shading on the top of the dinosaur. So you might think like, oh, but there should not be any shading at the top. There should be shading at the top as well. And then you just create a highlight to make it look like more three-dimensional. Because I know that obviously the sun is going to be shining right there, but we do want to create something that looks like three-dimensional, right? So we do want to have some shading at the top, just to make sure that, because you're just going to fade it out anyways, you know, you're going to fade it into the rest of the drawing a little bit. Okay, there we go. And now we're just going to fade that in using the techniques that we've been using the entire time now. So if you look at it now, you do see that it looks a little bit more three-dimensional than before. And now we can get back with the highlight right there along the edge here as well, and then here maybe a little bit smaller. Alright, there we go. So just like what we did with this shadow over here, what I now want to do is I want to create detail with shading. So here, for example, there's going to be some shading, so we're going to just create some scales and some folds and stuff. Yeah, like that. And over here, well, it's already pretty dark there, so there's not really much we can add, but yeah, we're just gonna have to leave it like that. And then in the shading here, we can add some scales, just because this area has some shadows. We're gonna do the same thing over here. Let's grab a darker color. Nah, it doesn't really look too good. Let's see. Not on the face, I guess. Well, the thing about digital art is that you can just undo everything. There is a limit to how many times you can undo something, but I haven't reached the limit yet. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe we should add some details in this fin right here. Especially at the base. And over here, it's gonna be less less light. Alright, so we should now come up with the color for the eye. I would say make it yellow. Yellow is a pretty good color for the eye, I think. But we are going to go to a new layer because we don't want to draw over. Oh wait, we can just draw there, actually. There we go. No, I don't like the yellow. I'm gonna make his eye red. It's probably gonna look a lot better. It does look a lot better. And now we can actually go here and grab this color and just, oh, that's way too big, and just continue on these little detailed lines into the shadowy areas. And maybe create some scaly texture along the way here and there. You don't need to overdo it with detail, just a little bit here and there. And this way the focus kind of falls on the face a little bit more, because the lines there are a little sharper. Oh wait, I'm actually stuck on a cable. There we go. We should add a couple of those scaly lines. The bottom jaw as well. Not too many, just a couple. And we should maybe add some in the neck as well. Not too many. I would say that's good enough. That's good enough. All right, let's get the colors for the claws. Oh, that's too that's way too big. It could be good. Maybe still a little bit too big. Alright, and then this one. Then the feet. And then the drawing is basically almost done. Cretaceous Chaos. Planet Dinosaurs is also cool because the scenes are based off of real fossils. Yeah, I agree. But I don't know, Planet Dinosaurs, I must say that it has some... Wait, let me quickly grab this color. It has some scenes that I don't really like that much because the story is basically not really based on it's not really based on characters and stuff like that, and it kind of I have to say I fell asleep like way too often. Like I kept on falling asleep during Planet Dinosaurs because I was just, I don't know, it felt a little bit boring to me. But I do like it though. It's not like it's a bad show. I do like it. So now the only thing we need to do is add highlights, and the best thing that we can do is grab like probably like a yellowish color and then just add a highlight along all the edges. Oh, that's way too harsh. The highlight is... oh, I'm actually using the wrong brush. So this brush, you should, for this task, you should use a different brush. This one is a lot softer. You should not add too much of this. It's just here and there you're gonna add a little bit, and you can break up the lines as well. And obviously on top of every, like, okay, this is too big. Just give it a little bit of a highlight here. That way it stands out a little bit extra. We should probably do that on the ridges as well. But these ones can be a little bit bigger because this is the focus of our attention here. Are we at the wrong layer? No, we're at the right layer. Maybe we should add more red actually. I think we should. I think the crest should also be pretty red. Let's grab this color of red and then just spray it over this area a little bit. And by the way, I just noticed this. It is not completely centered, so I'm gonna have to try and adjust that real quick. Am I using the wrong? Was I using this one before? I have no idea why the lines are so black. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Alright, so now we could add some more of this reddish pinkish color. We're also gonna add it. I am so stupid actually. Why do I always do this? So I forgot that I was still drawing on the wrong layer. Now I am drawing on the right layer though. Just a touch of red at the back as well. And some red on its back, just to add some extra coloration so it's not just one color, and it doesn't look too bad in my opinion. Alright. Oh yeah, I forgot the teeth. Teeth are very important as well. Yellow, orange. That's perfect. Here we go. Wait, why am I going over? Huh, I don't really understand that. Oh, that works. Alright. I don't know how long we've been streaming for. I'm just kind of going with the flow, but like, yeah. Must have been a couple hours already. That's what it feels like, at least. Why do I feel like there's still background right there? Let's just fill this in real quick. I could also create wow, that's way too big. A little bit of like a shadow in between each teeth. Like that. Alright, there we go. Now I can finally start working on the background. So for the background, well, let's first see what it looks like if you're gonna take away all the black lines. Yeah, it still doesn't look perfect, but let's just keep the black lines in there. So we're gonna create a new layer. I'm gonna put this layer behind our dinosaur. And yeah, like the Baryonyx would have lived in a swampy area, I would imagine. So I would say that we're gonna use mostly green for this background. So we're gonna get pretty dark greens at the bottom. And then we will just like get I'm gonna have to use like alright, something like that should be fine for now, right? Or maybe we should first start with the background, I guess. Yeah, let's start with the background first. So in the background we're gonna see lots of trees, and that is too light. Why do I have wait, why is it too wait, I just take the background color and make it a little darker, and that way I can create trees in the background. But it is gonna be a swampy area, so it is obviously going to look pretty swampy. Don't know why it's so laggy, the brush. Don't remember it being this laggy, but yeah. Just gonna have to deal with this. So this is kind of like a rock. Maybe there's like a little bit of a cave inside. But it does have to go down pretty low. We can't really look. The horizon line is right here. No, probably even like right here. So yeah, it has to be a little... Why is it so laggy? What's going on? I don't remember it being this laggy. Maybe it's because it's so big. Yeah, most likely. Alright, we do want to have a little bit of like a hope, you know, so I'm just gonna create like a tiny little bit of a lighter color here in the middle, and I'm gonna use the airbrush again, make it really big, and just create this lighter area right in the middle that you can kind of see through the trees as well. A little bit of a yellow color. Maybe there's a fog in the swamp, because I can just go in here and then just like fade everything in a little bit more, make it not as sharp. It's going to be out of focus a little bit so that the focus comes more onto the dinosaur itself. And obviously this is not going to be enough. We need a little bit more. Background and stuff. So we're going to create some trees here. Oh, wait. That's not right. I'm still using the wrong brush. Wait. That one's better. Okay, maybe one of them is like has fallen over a little bit. It's like slanting, and then we should have a smaller one in the back over here with branches sticking out. No, I don't like those branches. It has to come from here, and then one over there, and then a bigger one on the right over here. Alright, that is looking pretty nice. And then we need to make it smaller so that we can create some vine. Oh, that's too small. So we can create some vines that are like... No, actually, we don't need to create vines, we just need to create these... I don't know what they're called, but I saw them in the documentary, The Dinosaurs, you know. There's like these really weird trees that have these vines like coming down. Yeah, I think they are just called vines. They're just hanging down like this. And then I can go in and I can just fade them out a little bit. And I have to do that anyways with these trees as well, because they're not on the foreground. So only the trees on the foreground are going to be a little bit sharper into focus. Alright, so now I want to have one more layer of background, and it's going to be the darkest one. We're just gonna make it a little, like, pretty dark actually. And here we're gonna have the foreground. Oh shit, what do I do? We're gonna have the foreground kind of like coming down like this. And actually it can be even darker. I want a clear distinction between foreground and background. So this is gonna be better. Yeah. So we will keep this into focus, because this is the foreground. I'm not sure. Actually, it might be a little too dark. It might be a little too dark. Let's make it a little bit less dark. What about this? Yeah, that's better. Alright, and with this color, I'm gonna create another big tree over here. And actually, I don't like that tree. The tree should be darker. Is this better? Yeah, it's a little better. So I will fade out like the bottom. And now I'm gonna go in front of this layer, create a new layer, and I'm gonna put a tree right through its tail. Because this one is more in front. I can't get that part right, so let me just, there we go. Alright, and now let's create some more foreground here as well. And we could create some plants here as well. Doesn't have to be perfect, just needs to be present. And you can change the size a little bit to create smaller plants as well. Alright, cool background. You think so? Well, it doesn't have the right lighting though. I'm already happy with the lighting because it doesn't look like he is supposed to be in this environment. But we can maybe add some highlight to the tree by like adding some blue. Like, let's take this color and then change it to blue, which is its complementary color, and then put in some blue. So we could use this as shadow, but in this case I want to use it as highlight, so I'm going to make it a little bit brighter. And a little bit more gray probably, and then I'll just use the other brush, this one, to add some lighting into the scene. So now it looks slightly bit more like it's supposed to be like this. Alright, there we go. So all that's left now is adding my other graph. Do that on a new layer. Should probably do it with pink. There we go. There we have our baryonics, and I could go in and clean up some lines because I see that some of these lines are not really inside of the areas, you know. But yeah, I mean, it's fine. Oh yeah, forgot to do something else. We can remove this annoying line that's like going straight through the head. There you go. Alright. So after finishing this drawing, I think I'm gonna end the stream. I hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Thank you for watching, and leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Well, goodbye. If I can figure out. There we go.